All right, what's up, everybody? We are back again. Another episode of Shelfspace. You know us. So I think starting to get used to what we talk about. Whether you agree or not, we appreciate all the comments and the support. So, like I said, it's just a place for us to generate conversation and talk with focus on mental health. And we always like to encourage everyone to go and get seek out the local resources that you have. We're not professionals, but we want to make sure that you guys understand it's comfortable to talk about things that are bothering you, whatever they be, and then that's out there that's ready to listen. So with that, I am one of your hosts, Almond Brown from the planet Almond. I always park the spaceship outside, leave the hazard lights on and the exhaust hot because my co-host gets to talking when the toxic avenger starts going in, man. I sometimes have to make a quick escape, sometimes head back to planet Almond. So with that, I'm going to let him introduce himself. The man you know and love. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to another one. I am 1/4 of the most poppinest podcast on the face of this flipping earth, Headache Star Mitchell. Hopefully tonight we will be able to spark some type of conversation, provide some entertainment, and give you a better insight on what it is that we all have going on as we take this trip around the sun.
You heard it. You heard it. So take a little trip around the sun. So as you know, we usually start out the week or the show. We start out with a little bit of what we've been doing for the past week, and then we jump into some of the headlines that we thought kind of caught our attention. We discuss them, and then we sort of wrap the show up with a little dig into some mental health topics and what we're up to for the rest of the week. So this past week, been working, been real busy. I did go and see the new Halloween movie, so I'm gonna say my comments on that. If you've been reading it online, you may already know what's up with that. Been watching the Game of Thrones prequel, the House of the Dragon. So that's getting real crazy. Reading books. I appreciate all my co-hosts on the show. They really have inspired me to start getting into some books. So finished up the Code of the Extraordinary Mind and moving on to some other books about self-improvement. So that's what's been up with me. What about you, Mr. Headache?
I've been following the Darnell Brooks trial for the last couple of days. He's the gentleman that's allegedly drove his mother's SUV through a Christmas Day parade, resulting in the death of 6 people and multiple injuries. He has decided to take himself on as his own counsel.
Yeah.
Watching it, it's gotten a little crazy, especially with him always objecting, and his objections are always the same thing. It's either it's speculative or it's leading. You could tell that he's playing his own jailhouse lawyer, and it's not going too well in his favor. Allegedly, also prior to him driving through the parade, he met up with his baby moms. He gave her the what for upside the eye. They had been getting into it, and she got out. And when the cops were called, then that's when he sped off. And then later, allegedly, he drove through the Christmas Day parade. He's claiming that he blew his horn to alert people to get out of the way, and whatever happened, it just happened from there. So it's a loony bin over there in
So
Waukesha.
I wanted to ask you,
Waukesha is right
has this
outside of
trial? Yeah, go ahead.
no Waukesha is right outside of Milwaukee. That's where it is.
Right. Now, I was going to ask you, has this trial been on, like, have they been allowing cameras in to carry, you know, prosecution, examination, testimony, that kind of stuff? Or
They've
has
been
it just
carrying it for
been
the
news clips?
no, they've been carrying the whole trial. I caught it on YouTube,
Okay.
um, my timeline, and I clicked it, and then just kind of went down a rabbit hole from there.
Right.
It's been on for like the last, I believe, like today is like day 12, and it hasn't gotten any better
They,
for him.
okay. And he's representing himself. Remember, right, this happened right after another tragedy, or I just remember it being like a couple of, like, maybe a week or in between this and another happening. But this is the one it's actually on camera, right? And
Yes,
he's just kind of, yeah, right, okay.
yes, it
So is
is.
he claiming he lost control of the car? I mean, what is his defense?
I blew
Or
my
have we even
horn.
gotten into that?
I blew my horn.
Okay,
Y'all were in the
okay,
way, allegedly.
right, right.
And
And then the
with him, he's claiming in his defense when they speak of Darrell Brooks, I don't consent with being referred to by that name. That's how deep it is that he's going with this. That as his counsel, as his own acting counsel, he's not on trial, and he actually asked one of the police officers if the state of the state was an actual entity. That's how much that we're looking to get off that the state is not real. And that he's claiming that he's a sovereign citizen, that the Constitution applies to him, but the Constitution of Wisconsin does not.
it's a really strange trial going on there, man. And he's representing himself. So
As
now
always.
you had mentioned him getting into it with his baby. You said his baby's mama before that. So some type of confrontation between them happened, and he's sort of dropping off in anger. Is that what he's alluding to, or did they talk about that at altercation between him and his BM?
They just discussed it as if it's just another day at the office. That one does not lead to the other, that he was upset and that he was angry. It's just they were in the way. And that it wasn't me that was driving. And can you prove that it was me? Did you see it was me? One of the officers, off-duty officers, he said that he saw him. He looked him in the face and he saw him. Are you sure that was me? No, are you sure that was Mr. Brooks? How could you see him if you were 10 feet away? And if you were down here and the vehicle was here, could you clearly see 10 feet away? And was it actually 10 feet away?
Right,
We're just
right.
reaching. And with every question that the state asks, it's always objection, 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 speculative, leading, speculative, leading. On what grounds? And he has nothing else.
So he's playing the lawyer game. He's watched enough Perry Mason to know how to slow things down, play to the cameras. All it's almost it's I'd say it's almost a disservice to the justice that they got the cameras on this guy, make a spectacle of himself. But it'll pan out to be what it is. So that's interesting. I hadn't heard much in the news about that trial. I do remember the incident, so didn't even realize that was going on. So we will be interested to see what happens from that. So okay, well, cool. So man, so one of the things we talked about last week was and you call him you call him my boy. That's what you call him. Let me see if I can put the little ticker down here at the bottom. Um, that'll just be fun to show that. So, yay! Interview on Drink Champs, man. Um, wow. So last week we talked about his interview with Tucker Carlson, his decision to wear the White Lives Matter shirt, team up with Candace Owens, that whole thing, and then he goes on Fox News, does an interview with Tucker Carlson. Like they really, I don't know. First of all, I don't know if you got to see the whole thing. That link I sent to you has now been taken down, but he does mention that interview in sort of a derogatory way, that interview did and with Fox News on that Drink Champs interview. So, did you get a chance to see the whole thing?
I didn't get to see the whole thing in one sitting. Where I caught it through Vice,
Yeah.
the clips that Vice put up. So I caught it through that one.
Okay.
The Drink Champs joint, that jump was taken down as well too, and I had to catch
Right.
that one through an alternate source as well too. So I caught that one. Matter of fact, this morning while you were typing,
Yeah.
I was actually sitting down watching it.
Yeah, I did it. I caught it this morning too. That same link, but last afternoon, had been taken down, and not sure who's doing it. I really think it's Nori's people that are doing it. He's trying to distance himself from it. So there's really like two things going on in this whole Drink Champs interview. Nori wanting to protect his enterprise. Drink Champs has been a really popular hip hop podcast. He's got a really good thing going on over there, really popular, and they do the interview, and there's a lot of backlash on some of the things that Kanye, Ye said, and then Nori immediately goes out and starts doing a sort of a little moonwalk, as I'll say, and then there's actually what Ye was talking about in the interview. So let's dig into that a little bit, man. This was right on the heels of the White Lives Matter shirt at the fashion show. He goes on Fox News, does the interview. Now he does with Drink Champs. And that audience, it's not just a black audience, but it's a hip hop audience. Would you agree with about Drink Champs? It really, it's not, I mean, it probably is a predominantly maybe a predominantly black audience, but I would say it's very broad because it covers like all the hip hop culture. So you got people from all backgrounds that know about it and watch it. I mean, would you agree with that?
I want to say yes, and I want to say no. You know what you get in with Kanye, but yet and still, this is kind of like we were talking about last week, where you leeching off of the man because you know that he's a hot topic and that he's gonna bring viewership, and that viewership is you're gonna be able to cash in on it. That portion, I'm saying no.
Keep talking.
On the other
Plug in the laptop.
on the other portion, I get the yell on why we're doing it because not only is he stepping away, but LeBron James, he's stepping away from a segment that he did on him. Somebody else has a Kanye Day, a Ye Day. They've stepped away from that one. Adidas is looking at doing the same thing. The only thing that I'm looking at is seeing what Balenciaga is going to do because had it not been for Ye,
exactly,
nobody would really be concerned with Balenciaga the way that they are totally consumed with Balenciaga.
Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of things happening off that interview for him and his business connections, because he immediately got dropped by, I think it was Chase Bank.
Yep.
Some of his shows were canceled. And so I mean, where do we even start? I mean, he does the White Lives Matter stunt. I call it a stunt. Nothing really happens. There's some backlash, there's some talking, but nothing really happened. Hey, what's up, Torrance? Thanks for checking us out, man.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate that one so much.
Yeah. So White Lives Matter happens, some backlash, but nobody really backs out on him. He doesn't lose any. I don't think he loses any deals or endorsements because of that. I think maybe Adidas had announced that they're gonna have some discussions, but soon as he starts spouting some anti-Semite uh, language,
But we can't do that because we're all Jews.
all
We're all
right, so,
part of
all
the
right,
12 tribes of Judah.
all right, headache. Yeah, I mean that's what he was saying. That's what he was trying to argue too. Him and Nick, your boy Nick, same thing. But when he came out with that, there was a really quick turnaround on cancellations, on some of his business ventures. A lot of it kind of hit him right fast. 5 shows were canceled. That SoFi thing. So why? What it almost, man. What, when you listen to what he was saying about business dealings, when I watched the interview, I wanted to just, like, if you could draw a picture of Kanye's, just draw a picture of Kanye, and I would just draw a line like right down the middle, and that line would move from side to side, because there's some times Kanye says some things that he's absolutely right, and then there are some things he gets just way, he just goes off on the deep end.
Okay, so where was he right
he
at?
talks about how to,
What was he correct at?
yeah. Oh, this is good. When he started talking about business, and when he started talking about managing your own, demanding the right kind of contracts, questioning contracts, not taking things that, because this is the norm, this is what everybody else take. He didn't want to take that. When he was told, okay, you're not gonna be able to be in this this industry or whatnot, he created a way. He went and made his. I love that about him. But he'll say things like that, talk about his independence and his determination and how he can create his own way. But then the very flip side, then he'll complain about somebody blocking him or somebody not allowing him to do something, as if now all of a sudden he doesn't have control. You see what I'm saying? Like, he kept kind of falling back and forth to where he would play the victim sometimes, and then he would turn around and be the victor, and it's just like, which is it, Kanye? So there were a lot of times during that Drink Champs interview, he was complaining about the way he'd been treated, and how media has portrayed him, and how these people are controlling these avenues, and he's like, and that ain't right, and I'm a victim, and you all need to back me up. It's really what he was saying. Yeah, you saying that, but
That one was funny. That one was funny when he was talking about people. When they talk about taking my kids, I need you all to step up for me. That one was crazy to me.
Yeah, he was like, he was coming at Nori, right? It's like, when they talking about taking my, he was talking about Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, what she got to do with any of this? Whatever comment she made, I doubt she even knows Kanye. So why even dwell on that? But he was telling Nori, like, hey, when you're trying to take my kids, I need all of y'all to stand up and say, no, this can't happen. This can't happen. And Nori came back with a very good question. This is something we've all said. Like, hey, man, I respect you, but if I get involved in this, right? Because we've been there. I get involved in this, and y'all get back together, I'm the one on the outs.
I got to hold this L. I got to hold this L for you.
Yes, we've been there for. We've been there. We taken our homeboy side on a breakup. Dogged her. Yeah, man, you right. Yeah. Move on. This, that, whatever, and then go and get back together. Now you looking like a fool. You know what I mean?
I love a word. This is what we doing now. I did all this for you, and this is what we doing.
Exactly. So Nori's question was legit. But did you also notice how many times Nori was trying to say, "Hey, you don't really mean that, do you? You don't mean all Jewish people, do you? Because we like Jewish people." You notice Nori knew he was crossing the line. That's why I was a little disappointed with him. I was talking about, I didn't realize what he was saying. And I guess maybe he was referring to the George Floyd part, which we haven't even brought up yet. But
Boy, that's a whole.
absolutely, yeah, he absolutely knew that what Kanye was saying was, whether you want to label it anti-Semite, it was definitely directed towards Jewish culture, which he referenced several times. And that's a discussion to be had, but to blame a whole culture for that for that, might have been a step too far. Go ahead.
I'm glad that we are not where we are planning on being, because in pre-production meeting, if anyone had brought up, let's get Ye on the show, man, I'd have burned this whole thing down. That is not an option. I
You
would have
wouldn't have
burned
done
this
it.
whole entire thing down
Why is that? You
because
wouldn't have done it.
he's not an option. Matter of fact, what's the difference between him and Griff?
You're right. You're right.
Griff was,
He said the
to
same
me,
thing.
the difference between he and Griff, to me, Griff wasn't as brutal. He wasn't as
Right.
raw.
Right.
It was just, these the facts. Here it is. Make out of what you is. It's
Right.
nothing personal. It's just the facts. With Ye has made this personal with, this is how you all are impacting me, and this
Right.
is what you all are doing to me. And then you want to bring your people along with it now that you're caught up in the firestorm. But that's the thing. I could see Nori with this not wanting to get Nick Cannon. And what this man had to tap dance and shuffle foot and do all of this other stuff to get his stuff back, and then for people to find out you don't even own your own show.
Yes. Good point. Good point. Whereas Nick owns his stuff, and I get it. I get it. Nick owns his stuff, and I get that. But Nick also, I think, realized that a lot of his watchers, a lot of his viewers, were offended by what said, or what, and I just think the three celebrities that are really like embedded in hip hop culture that I think of that have tackled that topic in an interview: Ye, Nick Cannon, Professor Griff. Griff got burned, but Griff was gone. Griff, you haven't seen Griff since then. Public Enemy moved on. He's done stuff since then. I believe he's still writing books. He's still, doing things, but he never got back to that. Was welcomed back in the group or traveled with them, which was always to me was odd, because if you look behind the curtains of Jam, that's who your management was. If you look at the movie Mo Better Blues, one of the things that Spike Lee does in that movie is highlight that relationship between the black entertainer and the Jewish management. Okay.
Of course.
If you look at the movie and the history of NWA, Cube was another one. What was he upset about? He was upset about what management was doing. And it's always, and that, I think, so when Kanye starts to speak about that is a conversation to have. But when Kanye starts saying, you're all part of this, you're all a part of that culture, all Jews are a part of that culture, that's where Nori was like, wait a minute, I gotta back up out of there. I gotta put it in reverse, because I can't go down that road with him. And they kept trying to get him to say, but not all, right? And Nori just came out and said, look, I got really good Jewish friends. I got good friends that are Jewish. And what you're saying, I know, and you can see by the way he was acting, he thought what Kanye was saying was offensive to them. So, but Ye was in He was in his mood on that. He was drinking. He just went at it, and uh, man,
For me,
again,
it's
I draw the
safer to have
line.
for me it's safer to have a conversation about politics and religion than
Yeah.
it is having a conversation about Jewish people, because no matter what it is that you say, it's never going to turn out well. It's always going to be flipped. Always.
Well,
There's no way around it. There's no way that you cannot flip it. Even if you say something about the street is red and you mention someone that is Jewish, then it'll turn into but the blood of the streets and this, that, and the third. You can always flip it. That's why I would never have a conversation about Judaism on any level.
mhm.
That is not in my wheelhouse. I do not speak about Jews whatsoever.
See, but we ought to be able to have a conversation about it. I think the danger is anytime you start to generalize a culture. You know, I get mad all the time if you're listening to news or talk show hosts of conservative radio, especially, and they like to generalize the black culture, or they generalize hip hop culture like this is all we do, or this is all they do. Um, so I can be sensitive to the fact when someone has does it to someone else. I can be sensitive to the fact when people generalize white people. I can understand why they would be upset about that. Say generally this is what all white people do. I can be upset about that. I can. I'm sensitive to that. But but can you have the conversation about business and entertainment and agents and management and representation and what contracts look like? Yes, you should be able to do that. Um,
Sure.
you know, you should be able to do that. And if it happens to be that majority of that management is Jewish, then there's a conversation to be had. You know, I
On
just
what
didn't
level?
think like what I, I do agree with Kanye on ask the question why. Yeah, ask the question why. Why is it? Why is it? Find out why. Um, I don't agree with him saying that like oh just because this agent or this management team is Jewish, they're going to do me like this. They're going to treat me this way automatically. No, I disagree with that. But the conversation should be had. If you're in a bad contract, especially if you've been treated, one of these deals where you don't own your stuff or you're not getting a fair shake. Ask the question why. That's what he was saying. That's really, I think, what he was trying to get to was ask the question why. I need money. You know what I'm saying? He's made enough money to where he can push back and he can drive that conversation. I just don't know if he knows how to have that conversation, how to have the conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, is he the one to have that conversation? Is he the one even to be involved in the conversation? Because with his personality, if anyone else
Right,
starts the conversation, Kanye is going to dominate the conversation because you're
right,
not gonna baby be me. You can't baby be me anymore.
right.
And for everybody, the baby B is when you are a small billionaire in swimming in the pool with bigger fish. That's what he meant about being referred to as a baby B, because he's a new billionaire compared
Right.
to other people with old money. Then they're looking to little boy him, and I get that,
Yeah.
but with your money comes some kind of responsibility.
And power.
So that's why I
Yeah.
was asking in pre-production about this, and the same thing with rap lyrics being under scrutiny as well too. Are we living in a First Amendment or First 48? Well, you snitching on yourself. Kanye's doing the same thing with this is what this is, and this is who's doing what, and all the rest of that mess, and expecting no backlash or being, for lack of a better word, being blackballed out of the industry where they won't accept you.
Yeah, and I think you hit on a point there about his personality. So his personality doesn't fit that. Like he mentions in that end, don't come and tell me something if you want it to be a secret. He says,
Basically.
yeah, he says, I'm not your hard drive. So, which is why he is going to be, you just said, blackballed out of certain circles, blackballed out of it. Because I understood what he said when he said baby B. Like he's got money, he's got the money, he's got the resources, but they don't necessarily want his I don't want to say input, but they don't necessarily want his ideas, or no, I don't even want to say that because they do want his ideas. They just don't want him having control of it. They want his ideas, they want influence, but they don't want him to have control of it. He talked about that Fox News interview, and he kind of laughed about it. He's like, I go on Fox News, and he said, yeah, they want to look at me, they want to interview me, treat me like, oh, this is Kanye. He said, but they look at me like, what did he say? I'm the squirrel on jet skis. Like he's an attraction. Like he's a a circus act. And that's when I think when he was alluding to that baby B, like I got money, I got influence, got power, but I don't have any control. I can't make stuff happen. Right? Like he was really upset about those things getting canceled because it really got pushed in his face that you don't have control. This is not your platform. Yeah, we use you to attract eyes and to gain influence, but we can also close the door no matter how much you got. You don't have this platform. Which I think where some of his anger was coming from in that Nori interview.
Okay, but the thing with him is you're first generation rich. You one generation out of the projects. So your money, you have money, but your money really doesn't count because you don't have old money. You don't have generational money. You
Right.
just starting this. And the thing with Alex Jones, with you being a billionaire, you saw what they did to your mans, and they slapped him
Oh
with
yeah.
that $1 billion lawsuit. So we go ahead and offer this, offer your anti-Semitism, offer your George Floyd comments. If they
Yeah.
got a billion, and we want you out of the business, we can go ahead and slap the same suit on you, come and get your billion, and then go ahead and kick you out of the game as well too.
Well, he is getting some more backlash from that same interview. Is now Kanye is facing a lawsuit from George Floyd's family. But one of the parts about the interview that we haven't even mentioned yet was he said some things about George Floyd that I've heard Candace Owens say. Okay, and then you're gonna get on me about Candace Owens because I said she was cute. I still think she's cute, man. But I can't get down with stuff that she does. But I think she's a grifter. She's like the true definition of a grifter. But the George Floyd's family immediately went and filed paperwork for a lawsuit because Kanye repeated this. What I heard Candace Owens saying that was that George Floyd was high on fentanyl, I think, or something like that, or been
But they
using
hit
drugs.
him with the fentanyl. That's what allegedly. That's what they claim. That's what he is claiming. That they hit him with the fentanyl, and that they really wasn't on his neck like that for that long. But that's what it was, and that they want a tall black man like me, and this, that, and the third. And then now
Yeah.
you've now essentially he has made your girl his co-defendant in this one as well too. And what better way to take her down and take the battery out of her back as well too is to slap a lawsuit on her.
Oh, watch how quickly she backs up from that. She has said it, but she's gonna fall back on, well, I got, toxicology reports or from an independent or whatever she meant. She's done a whole documentary now on Black Lives Matter that they were promoting. Like it was her, it was Kanye, Ray J, and Kid Rock. It was like that's a real odd combo, but they were
Man,
promoting her. Yeah, no, they were promoting her her documentary on that. and she's just hell bent on exposing Black Lives Matter as I guess a fraud. But when all the dust settles, you still have the George Floyd incident. You still have that needs to be, that needed to be addressed. So you mentioned your boy Alex Jones. I saw that article that you sent me. So that was an interesting verdict in there, because he goes on his podcast and said things about Sandy Hook shooting, said it wasn't real, put the parents through this trauma. And so they sued, and they're, billions something. Okay, they're all getting paid. Now, are they going to actually get the money? I don't know. But that got me to start thinking about, where else could a similar lawsuit like that come from? You know, and it's almost like the George Floyd example here. So if a podcast host, or talk show radio host or TV host starts spouting off things that, well, I heard this, I heard that, and they keep running with it, trying to prove that it's true, and bringing on guests that repeat the lie or repeat the rumor. Are they going to be, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, there's a precedent there. Or did that just work for the Sandy Hook parents? And not to disparage them at all, but I'm just wondering, because a lot of that goes on in some urban neighborhoods. Kid gets shot, maybe hanging out 12 a.m. whatnot. Next thing you know, the worst picture he's ever taken goes up. The little trouble he got into in middle school is brought up. He pushed somebody down at a football game and got into a fight. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, they start trying to break down his character when just being a kid. And actually, what he was doing was working, a part-time job, going to school, trying to get a degree, taking care of his, maybe as a kid, taking care of, you know what I mean? But all of a sudden, there's been this basically character assassination. Is that what Alex Jones was doing, in a sense, with the Sandy Hook thing?
The biggest thing about that one is they turned the screws on him so badly, to the point to where he actually said it was a hoax. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. And then you're already 50 million in the hole, because they're saying that this is number 2 out of 3. That he still has another one coming. That the one from Texas, that he's in the hole. He's in the whole 50 million already before the 1 billion. So you're already in the hole. And then you still got another one that you have to deal with.
Wow.
So I mean, I'm cool. I'm cool with conspiracy theorists, but some conspiracies you cannot go on the air and not expect repercussions.
Can you have the discussion though? It's sort of back to the Kanye interview. Can you have the discussion?
Okay, but everything is not to be publicized. Just like when you having a conversation about coworkers, or about when you having a conversation about one of your boys, you don't want to do that in front of everybody and then put him out on blast and expect him not to come back and do something. Some conversations need to be held in private, especially if you're planning or starting some sort of movement to change the narrative or change the direction of where things have been going for so long. Just like the thing with the Jews. And when people get upset and they keep saying that slavery happened so long ago, the Jewish Holocaust is what, less than 100 years old. So quite naturally, it's going to continuously to get milked, because it was the last one to happen. Same thing with your movies on the Jewish Holocaust. Every few years, every decade or so, you always get another. You get a different take from the same story, and it always moves.
Yeah, okay. Well, you could say that about civil rights. You could say that about, slavery. Every couple of years, here comes another, Black Power movie, right?
Wrong,
Can we say
wrong,
that?
wrong. No, because of our our inability to own anything because we have our story pushed swept up under the rug, and it's always swept with that broom of that was 150, that was 200, that was 300 years ago. That was so long ago. And even if it had only happened 101 years ago and someone else's Holocaust happened 100 years ago, it's going to take precedence.
Okay. So,
So with your Black
but
Panthers, you need that one. You
no,
need your Black Panthers. You need your Red Tails. You need these things to give people opportunities to if you're really talking about being inclusive, you need these things.
right. But I think that was a problem. Maybe that was a problem in the 80s. Maybe that was a problem in the 70s. Definitely, before that, before those times. Like I would say probably that we've kind of touched on this before, probably in the 80s, there was a certain role that, an actor, a minority actor might get, whether you were, Black or Asian or Hispanic, they talk about that. Morgan Freeman talks about that a lot. I told you I watched that Rita Moreno special, about her, and they were good friends from the electric company, but he talks about that. And nowadays, here we are in 2022, we have the ability now to create our own content. So much so. I mean, you've got YouTube, you've got all these different type of platforms. You can just go and create your own. You can create it now. There's nothing really. I don't want to say holding you back, but there's really honestly there's nothing holding you back. Things are starting to get turned on their head. So we can't really say that we're not that we don't have avenues now. We can't say that anymore. I think what needs to happen now is rather than seeking, validation from those main platforms, we just go do our own. One of my problems that I have with the comedian Monique, sitting there whining and complaining about Netflix not giving her a special. We're not funny, okay? But if you so hurt by it, go make your own. Go make it happen. You got the resources, right? And it sort of that is where I was agreeing with Kanye in that interview. That's where I was agreeing with him. But then he made a hard 180 from that. When he started to talk about doing his own, and then all of a sudden he played the victim role. And he talked about him having a conversation with Puffy about making a bank. And shout out to Killer Mike. He started that him and a group started that Greenwood Bank, which actually got an account with. You had to get on a waiting list to get an account with them, but it's cool. Just the fact that it's a bank that started by hip hop culture. Was cool, and so that's where I think we, instead of like thinking, okay, they shut me down, they took my show away, I can't use the venue, or they closed down this funding for me, they won't let me in this industry. Go create your own lane. And he talks about that, and then all of a sudden he starts getting all upset about Kim and Pete Davidson and all this, and his emotions get all high. He starts cussing and this and that, and starts playing the victim. Yes, I just can't get with that.
Okay, so are there not gatekeepers in the industry that
Yes.
look at us? Okay, we're low level now, but what happens when the egg cracks open and we're all over the place? Are we not going to have to deal with gatekeepers, even if a gatekeeper is someone like Puffy?
Yes. If we choose to go, if you choose to go that route and do business with him, and that's where you gotta make your call. You know what I'm saying? Is like, do I want this? He's got a platform, he's got some resources to put me, you think about any artist that was coming up, especially, in the 90s, wanting to sign with Bad Boy. Bad Boy had movement, it had the street team, it had the marketing, it had the already successful artists. You just plug you into the family and boom, now you're already blowing up. So do you want to pay for that? And if you want to pay for that, then you're going to get this jacked up contract. I would imagine Puffy learned how to do contracts from people that he was sitting around, and as an intern watching artists sign these jacked up contracts. Him and Mace going at it right now. I don't know if you saw that or not, but Mace said he's
Oh,
still owing
oh,
money.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
I caught all of that one.
yeah. And most of us would probably tend to agree with Mace because there was something a little shady about what Puffy was doing. All these one and done artists. All of a sudden, we're the hottest thing, one record, and now they gone. You know. So,
But I mean,
yeah.
dealing with that, and that's what I was looking up because I thought it was the first law in the 48 laws of power. Never outshine the master. So you have to deal with the gatekeepers. So once the gatekeepers feel like you're getting too big for your britches, we have to, as Patrice O'Neill, may Allah's peace and blessing be upon him, he always spoke about the golden handcuffs that we give you just enough to where if we take it away from you, it's gonna hurt. So you have to do the song and dance. You can go ahead and talk about grouping together and we do this together and we decide to do this.
Mhm.
But it only takes one person out of that whole entire group to bring the whole entire masses down. So I mean, I get what you're saying about creating your own. I am a fan of creating one's own, but one has to be prepared to deal with the gatekeepers as well too.
I think the more technology exists, man, the less you got to deal with that. Like what Kanye is doing now, I didn't realize he was a billionaire, but what Kanye is doing now, he couldn't have done in '92 because of the gatekeeper. But because now you can take your art, your idea, and you can grassroot it and build it with creating your own content, finding your own platform to put it on, and just doing the work yourself. You could. I mean, we know the term nowadays. It's called viral. Your idea, your business, your video, it can go viral. No gatekeeper was involved in that. And I think what happens is once you become that, like this is where you get into that Kanye world. Once you become that influencer like that, they're going to come to you with a baby B, and they're going to say, pat you on the back and smile and say, yeah, we want you, we want you. He talks about his contract with the Gap, and how they want you, we want you. They wanted his influence. They didn't necessarily want his him to have any control, and that's when you have that true power. So I agree with him on that part. Okay, but to blame all Jews for that culture, I felt I'm he was way off on that.
I mean, plus, I mean, now you've
And
given them
he's feeling the backlash.
you've given them the ammunition now to whatever it is that you decide to build up. You can't say you're sorry with this one after you haven't even doubled down on it now. You have tripled down on it about Jews or that there was wrong and this, that, and the third. You pretty much given them the ammunition now for them to come back. And even if it is true and they've run the world, you've given them the ammunition to go ahead to shut your world down.
I understand what you're saying there.
You're gonna get grift. Anybody
Just
anybody can be anybody can be grift.
right. So it's gonna what are you trying to do? Just not get hit as hard as the next guy?
The thing that I'm watching in the sneaker world with this one, it's slowly starting to have an impact on it to where people are commenting on y'all still selling these, who's looking to buy, this, that, and the third, and this is even the sneaker world. They're slowly backing away from him, and if they do pull out from him, it's over. It's over. Because I mean, his shoes
I honestly,
drive more. drive more
Yeah.
resources to his brand than his music does.
Right. Yes. I didn't realize that. And to me, his shoes are ugly. Um, they're um, ain't for me. But his fashion, and I actually applaud him for that because he talks about how the gatekeepers didn't want to let him in. He talks about that, and
They
so
had
he's
they
got
had
a
they
right to
had
be, have some pride about that.
okay, but the Kanye that you all created, they're right. Y'all created this monster. Y'all gave him legs. That is why I didn't, and I'm glad I did not jump on him when he first came out.
Mm.
Is I knew something was not. It's not something was wrong with him. Something just wasn't right with him. And I hate that I'm right. I wanted to. I would have been better off, and I would feel better if I was absolutely wrong. Versus Kanye West being Kanye West.
You know, I don't. For me, a fan of his early stuff, I didn't see this coming. That it was sort of a shock to me. But as I hear him talk and do interviews now, he's the guy who's still bitter about being hated and he wasn't popular. You know what I'm saying? Like he comes across to me as a guy like, you know what, I had the right idea. You see, I made this money off of it. I was right all along, and you told me that I wasn't. That's why he calls himself a genius. Okay. Um, you know, and I don't want to take that away from him because I'm glad he stuck with it, and I don't want to take it away. I'm glad he stuck with it. I'm glad he made the music that he did make because I enjoy a lot of it. But I always say, like, dude, once you win, like, why are you still bitter? What are you still angry about? And that, always like leads to some type of self improvement, self evaluation. Like, you've got the money, you've got the success, what are you still angry about? What are you still reaching for? That whole marriage to Kim, I just don't think that was like, we can say what we want. That just wasn't a real, it wasn't a real thing. I think he wanted it to be real, and she saw an opportunity. It was more business for her. Maybe I could be wrong, but just now he's angry about it because I really think he was he felt like that was true, that it was a real relationship, and he's angry. He's angry about Pete Davidson. Um, it's funny he mentioned, and he actually mentioned talking to Jared Kushner about Ivanka. I don't know if you heard that part.
I
I
got
was
it.
like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Kanye just out there, making himself available. Um, you know, he he said he like to go all out for women. He said he might buy him a house or whatnot. But I thought it was weird that he had to tell Jared that he wasn't sleeping with Ivanka. It was just weird. But Kanye's just got so much. Like he's got so much. He's done so much, but he still like feels he acts like he's got to prove all to somebody that he was right. He's got to prove him right. Always got to prove him right.
That's why I raised my hand, sir, because you have attributed the same thing to me. That even when I win, that it's not according
Yeah.
to you. Even when I'm up, I need to be up 3 more spaces.
Right.
And and
Yeah, that's a
and
good point. Yeah.
and to your point, you're right. I do need to separate myself from the rest of the winners. But I mean, I need that so I can stay on point because by the time you hear them footsteps behind you, it's too late. And I don't want them footsteps behind me. So I don't
Right.
mind being your assist man. I don't mind helping you to win. But when I'm out here doing my thing, for those that doubted and those that You're this, you're that, you'll never be this, you'll never be that, you're too dark, nobody ever like you. They like the pretty brown skinned boys with their curly hair and all the rest of that stuff. So you do take it up another level. And you do separate
Yeah.
yourself from the pack.
Right. No, I'm not going to argue with that either. I think we all have been motivated by, what we call our haters, but at some point after you won,
Keep
like
winning.
Kanye, and we'll say
Keep
after you
winning.
won, what
Get
else is
another
going
ring.
to motivate you?
Get another
I,
ring.
no, like okay. So one of my favorite movies to go back, old movies to go back and watch is Conan the Barbarian. And Conan was it. They killed his mom and dad in the beginning, and that's all he was driven to get revenge and to find this man Thulsa Doom and kill him. And once he did that, everything that he had done all his life, all his drive, all his desires was put into that. Once it was over, you know what I'm saying, there was no motivation. There was nothing. So I look at like somebody like a Kanye, or you say I've said this about you too, but like once you've proven like you know what I'm saying, once you've done, how are you still motivating yourself after you've already shown that you're better or that you can win?
Keep winning. Because eventually I'm not gonna be able to play anymore. And how you doing, Renita? Thank you for joining us. But you keep winning.
Mhm.
And my thing with me is I don't have to be right. Honestly, I would rather be wrong because in this game of winners and losers, somebody has to lose, and someone that banks everything on winning, they will do things in order to continue winning. By like the dudes with the cheating scandal in fishing. That one was crazy to me because it's fishing. And I guess since I don't fish like that, and I'm not a competitive fisherman, I just saw it as fishing. It's something that my dad does, that my dad loves doing because
Mhm.
he loves to fish. But then when I start doing the research and all the money that's in it,
You know why?
I can kind of get it. But I mean, you have to keep winning. Once you win that first time, who wants to say I'm cool with just I'm one and done? I can go ahead and walk off. I can walk off the stage now with my one win, and I will be happy for the rest of my life. And then I got to sit on the sidelines and watch the rest of y'all win.
Right. No, I'm not saying you don't want to win anymore. I'm just saying that once you've I'll just be as harsh as possible. When you humiliated your hater, you've got that really good feeling from just humiliating them. Like, yeah, I told you, in your face, boom, 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 and you've done that. What motivates you then next to go and win again? What you've already proven to them that you're better. So you're not as driven on that second go around. If that was your focus, you've already defeated them. So they're not an obstacle for you. They're not going to
No,
push you to be better.
you make them an obstacle. You make them drive you because then now I want to beat you with one hand tied behind my back now, or I want to get down in the hole by 20 at halftime, so
Right.
I can see if I can come back, hit the 20, and then get you again with another 20 on top of it.
But you are looking for a challenge. Is what I'm saying. Is like if they don't challenge you, if you've got to create some kind of challenge, you know, to motivate yourself. Some type of adversity to motivate yourself. That can get exhausting.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but you can always find motivation in anything.
Right.
So I mean,
Yeah,
especially like I
I'm,
said,
I'm, I'm not arguing with you on that. Yeah.
if I give you a 10 pace head start, that's motivation enough. It's not much.
Right.
It's not much to me. It's everything to you because you think you've already won, and that's what drives that is you think you about to beat me, and I'm not about to show you that I'm gonna win. I'm gonna match your 10 steps, and I'm gonna get you by 11.
Right. But what I would say what kind of confounds me about Kanye is you've won. You're a billionaire. Why are you still claiming you're a victim of something? Why are you still saying? Why do you still like he still needs? I feel like Kanye needs somebody to hate on him for him to feel like he's successful. Like he got on that Drink Champs thing, just talked about how they're trying to take my kids from me, and this person's hating on me. And Jamie Lee Curtis said, don't let him get his kids back. That kind of stuff. And he needs that. He needs that
We do.
that that offense to push him so that he can I don't know I don't even know what his responses are, but that's what he needs. Like that's why I think he put on the White Lives Matter shirt. He knew what backlash was going to be. He knew it, but that's what he
You don't.
wants. He
You
needs
you
that.
you don't know the backlash that's gonna come with it. When you're
He knows.
when you're Kanye
He
West, a
knows.
genius. When you know that you're Kanye West, a genius, it's a troll. People are gonna talk, but they're not gonna cancel me. There's
Right.
nothing I can do on the
No,
face of this earth to get people to cancel me.
that's I think he does it. He does it to show to get hate and then show people that he can't be canceled. But what happened? He's getting canceled. He got this. He's losing some stuff. He's angry. You know what I mean? But that's why I think he did. That's why I think he put on the MAGA hat and he went to go see Trump and he's like hanging out. He puts on the White Lives Matter thing. He comes from the hip hop culture and all that. And I think he uses that because he is driven by hatred and naysayers. He talks about it in his music all the time. He's driven by
Okay,
it.
okay, but isn't this all part of
That's
the
toxic.
isn't that all part of the get
That's
money? Isn't that all part of the get money society that we live in now?
It is. It is. And sometimes, you know what I mean? I really think that is just I want to call it a sickness, but it is just a bad habit to embrace. When you just gotta have hate. You gotta have somebody hating on you in order to motivate yourself. Yeah, I mean, can you use it? Yeah. We played sports before. Can you use some hate out there? Yes.
Sure you
You've been
can.
on the court before. Yeah, I've seen you ball before. We've been on the court
I've
before. Somebody talk some
it's not
trash
even that. It's not even that for me. It's not
for
even that
the
for
gym
me.
six. It used
Some
to go
some
down in gym six.
some people they need that, and I can recognize when people need that. Either you're gonna get some behind somebody and push them, you're gonna get in front of them and pull them along, or you need that person that stands on the sideline that's hating. And some people they need me to hate so they can have something to blame. I'm not this because of Head. Head said this about my mother. Head said this about my clothes. Head said this because I don't read. It's Head's fault. And then, okay, it's Head's fault. Now what? I've kicked you when
Yeah,
you were down. Now what? Get up. And I will
but what
stand there and
happens
I will help
when
you. And I have no problem with helping you up either. But some people they need that to feel better
Renita's
about
comment
themselves
says,
or their condition.
yeah, I agree with you. And Renita's comment there is that because he doesn't have enough, he compares himself to Elon, who has 44 billion to 2 billion, and maybe so. He is probably that I don't have enough feeling in there, but you know, like continuing on with your comment that you just said is like, you know, where I'm just saying, like, I just feel, if when you don't have hate to motivate you, and you really shouldn't, you shouldn't want a lot of that negative stuff in your life. But when you have it, if you're not motivated by it, um, you know, that's where I think you go looking for it. You look to be offended. You look to offend. And then like he does, throw the stone and then hide your hand because you need that. You need that venom from someone else so you can go out there. It'd be interesting to see what he does with all of this stuff. Like he'll probably go drop another album, but at some point his luck is going.
Okay, it's just not a case of a man that has too much time on his hands to just and too much money to where I could just do whatever it is that I want to do. If I want to piss people off, so be it. I got money. As you said, the game is over. He's won. So how does he go sit down? And it's just like one of Elusive's hooks. Just got to heaven and I can't sit down. And that's exactly where Ye is. Ye is in heaven and he cannot sit down. And he can't sit down and he can't shut up.
He can't enjoy it. Is that what you're saying? Is that really what? Is that
I
what
am
Lucy is
enjoying it.
saying? Is
I am
he
enjoying it,
can't
but
enjoy it?
look
I
at
don't
what
think
it
he.
has cost me. Look at what it has
Yeah.
cost me. I am a multi-billionaire with a baby mama. I don't have a
Right.
family.
Right.
It
Yes.
costs you
I
it
think that.
costs you everything. So there's a lot of things that's going on in the play where Kanye has lost, but you cover up your losses by over when you lose here, you overwin over here. So
Right.
I can
With
so the
all
more
the
that I win over here, it'll cover up the biggest loss that I've taken over here.
money he has, you still hear all that anger in him in that Drink Champs interview. So I think that's what another comment from Renita said has been right since his mom died. There's something going on with him that even all of his money is not is not a fix for it. Like you mentioned, he
Go ahead and
couldn't
ask the question.
you couldn't keep
Go
his
ahead and
money
ask that
together.
question that you want to ask. And
No, I mean I don't have a question. I'm throwing it at you. I'm just saying it
the
just
question that you want to ask is when is enough enough? That's the question that you really want to ask. When
hmm,
is enough enough?
well that okay. We could tackle that, but there's never you can't measure it in money though. I mean, here's just my opinion. You can't measure that in money. I think if
You
you're
can't?
not whole, no, if you're not whole before you become a billionaire, once you become a billionaire, you're still not going to be whole. And I just mean like whole as like a healed person. If you're not whole, if you still have like Renita, that trauma they're dealing with, you still have it. You're going to have money and still have it. Which might be like
Okay,
he starts dating a girl. He said, "Yeah, I like to buy him a house. I do this for. I may do this for him. I may do that for him." He's just kind of you picture him he's just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks and what makes him feel good, and there's no direction.
okay, you're talking to a man that used their bodies. I piled their bodies up in my hole that I was lacking.
Yeah, you've talked about that a lot,
Until
and
enough was enough, and it cost me everything.
well, I
Cost me
mean,
everything.
what should I say? You got what you deserve. Should I say to you?
No, I earned that
Should
one. I didn't deserve nothing. I earned it.
you
And
earned it?
and people keep
Okay,
saying money doesn't make you happy, like being broke does.
right, right.
So if money doesn't make you happy, being broke makes you happy? And that's
No,
the society that we live in is get money, get shot. Those are the only two options that you have is get money, get shot.
Well, I mean, if you're driven by getting money, you know,
And
by
I
all
and I
means,
understand
by
I understand
any
I understand his statement because I am not a person that does things for money. Because once you start doing things for money, you wind up like Kanye. You wind up dancing to somebody else's music. Long as they keep shoving them quarters up your rump, you're gonna keep dancing. And I don't want to dance to other people's music. I want to dance to my own terms. But then
that some at some
one has
point
to know
though,
the difference between who they are and
right?
what they do in order to find that level of happiness.
But at some point, that reward of money and your self-esteem and your pride and all of a sudden the value of the money that you're getting starts to decrease, and the value of yourself, of your, you start looking at that and you're like, wait a minute, I've got my priorities mixed up. I think what, like, I really agree with what Ronnie said. Does it make you happy? You see that example in Kanye with all this money that he has. You can really ask yourself, is that man truly happy? Has he been happy? Has the money? Yeah, sure. The money's probably covered up some things and made it, made it able to cope with some things. But has he been really happy? Or been able to feel that? And you can get to that before you become a billionaire. That's honestly, that would be the ideal situation, is to find that kind of that balance and that habit before you come into the money. Then you can enjoy the money.
For me personally, I enjoy what little money that I make. I enjoy all the money that I don't make. I mean, I'm cool with it. I'm happy with my life. I can go out there and go grab some ground lamb and go throw it in that smoker. The little things that I honestly enjoy doing. My time and my sanity is worth more than a paycheck or somebody throwing some money in my face. I'm cool with it. I'm cool without the money because I've been there. Um, and life was great. I had a blast. And my thing is, I enjoy being able to walk in a food depot, nobody bothering me. I don't have to rent out
Right.
Disney World just to take my kids to go to Disney World because they cannot interact with other people. That I make all of this money and then I get separated from people. I don't want that.
Yeah, that's the rich people complaint. I can't be normal. I go shopping. Okay, but a lot of us would like to trade places with you for a little while for that. But I understand. There's some things that we take for granted, but like,
I don't
go
understand that one.
to a movie, go to Applebee's, and eat. I get it. You can't do that. Okay, but no, um, yeah, you can't do that. But what you can do, you can head off to Italy, for a month, and take your kids and enjoy everything over there. You know what I mean? Um, you
But I
know,
mean, the weirdo that I am, I would get bored because if I don't have something to do, I'm gonna get bored. So I mean, even if
yeah,
I did have the resources to not work, I would be yay. I understand him with
yeah.
gas up the jet. We going to Bangladesh just to go kick it, just to go pick up some pecans from Bangladesh. Gas up the jet. We just going to go. I would be bored to death,
You
and I
can do
would
that.
I would and I would find things to get myself in trouble with. Knowing me, I would.
Your boy Alan Watts, talks about being able to do, uses that as an example. Like, he really says that if you were able to dream everything you wanted to dream every single night, it's exactly what you wanted to do, you could do it. And he said it would feel great, for maybe almost a year. So then all of a sudden, just like you just said, all of a sudden you would start dreaming of challenges. You would start dreaming of, you know, adversity. because you're bored when you can get everything you want, know, with no challenge. But what I think my pushback to Kanye is when your challenge has to always be somebody shooting negative energy at me, saying when you do it to draw negative energy, so that it can inspire you to then go and feel challenged. I feel like that's a recipe for an unhappy life. When you've got to look for that offense, that offendedness. I gotta be offended. I gotta offend somebody so they can say something about me, so then I could be great. And we can, because if you played sports, you know what that's like. You know, when that other dude on the other side of the field or the other end of the court challenged you. Say some sucker. You need that. You need it. You need it, man. But what does that always lead to? A fist fight. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end, it ain't, you like, man, it really wasn't that big deal, But when you need that offense to perform, is that real? That ain't even real motivation.
It is.
Not real self motivation. No,
It
because you need it
is.
from you need to be pushed by that
An external
external.
force. We all need it. We all need an external force, whether it's our children, our girl. Just because we can do it, we all need an external factor, a motivating force, an external motivating force. We all need it. And I've been that dude that stood there and shut up, punk. I've been
Yeah,
that dude.
yeah, yeah.
Been that dude with
Yeah,
the I'm getting ready to go right on you. Matter of
yeah,
fact, I'm gonna just dribble with my left hand and I'm going around you with my left hand. I'm about to score on you with just my left hand the rest of the game.
right.
So I mean, some people
Yeah.
they need that. Some people they have to have it.
So Ronnie asked the question here. So how much money would make you all happy?
Zero.
I don't know.
I don't need your money to be
Yeah,
happy.
you're right. The real answer is zero. Yeah, but you do
The-
want to be comfortable. you want to be comfortable. You need
I
money
don't
to
even want
do
to be
that.
comfortable. I don't even want to be comfortable. I want to be in a position to where I am now, to if one of my boys at work is having a bad day and I know he enjoys these art and garden drinks, here you go. And a pat on the back. I've done that at the job to where I would give out candy, but it came with a pat on the back. Or it came with some kind words of a thank you for showing up. I know you really don't want to be here. I know that you have clothes that you have to buy for your children for school. And if you did not have your children, if you didn't have to buy them school clothes, you really wouldn't be here. I thank you for being here. Something that management wouldn't do.
Right.
Those are the things that I use my money for. Exposing people to the Kaepernick ice cream or this hair care product stuff that I'm doing now for one of my boys and her wife, to where I have the resources or I'm at the farmer's market picking up supplies for something else. She would like it and her wife would like it. Here you go. I am the change that I want to see in the world. So money does not
Good.
buy that.
Right. That was a good answer. Yeah. It's actually the answer should be zero, because you shouldn't draw your happiness from that. Yeah.
But I mean, but I've
You got to be
always known who
comfortable.
Headache Mitchell. I've always known who Headache Mitchell is.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure, you can help them if you are broke. You can't help them if you are broken. And those are not the same. Those are not the same animals. You can always offer advice if it doesn't take a whole lot of money to change somebody's life. It didn't take a whole lot of money for us to start this in an effort for you and I to help each other, and then for us as a conglomerate to assist other people as well too.
Right.
That was the primary feature behind this, is being more to people than what's actually out there, and giving them an avenue to be themselves. No, love is not free, homeboy.
Right.
Love costs you something. You got to give something to get something. And a lot of people don't have enough love to give themselves, much less to give to someone else.
Solid. Yeah.
So with the head is this and head is that, and he's so mean, and my favorite of all time, I would never date you, all the rest of that. These 2 hours that you get out of me once a week pales in comparisons to the stuff and the person that I am off camera. Now, the stuff that I do on camera, it's the same off camera. It's just it comes with some different things as well too. So I don't want to be fake. I don't want to do all of these other things. I want to be able to be myself.
Well, yeah, drop some nuggets on us that right there. I appreciate that. Oh, that was good. That was good.
I'm looking
I
to carry
have
my weight here.
yeah, I've got to for me, I've got to jump, man. I got to head out. I don't know how long you wanted to go tonight, but I gotta head out, jump back in the spaceship. But yeah, I hate to leave at this point of the conversation, but if you wanted to stay on and talk to the audience, man, I'll leave the window open. But
Now we can go ahead and we can shut it down.
we can shut it down. Okay. I didn't. Something came up here. I got to jump on. So I got to get back in the spaceship, head back to planet Almond. But man, I really appreciate what you shared with us today, man. It got me thinking about some things too, and the questions that Renita and Ronnie dropped in the comments there. But um, man, so this week, man, I'm gonna continue reading, and I'm looking forward to seeing that Black Adam movie. I'm a big sci-fi fan, so that's on my calendar to make sure I check that out Friday. And what I want to do is really starting to think about like what how much. Ronnie asked a great question. How much money do you need to be happy? And your answer was perfect, was zero. Okay, well, what are that are gonna you can have in your life that you draw enjoyment from and you can be happy, so that we're not that angry, bitter person that we see sometimes. Billionaires like Kanye. Um, that's some it's gonna be a week of like some self-reflecting. So I want to share that with you guys next week. So I appreciate that, man. So
That's fine, because broke is not a tax bracket. Broke
yeah,
is a state of mind.
exactly.
Kanye is broke, but he's a billionaire. He's emotionally broken. He's emotionally bankrupt. So
Yes.
in this
Yeah.
80-20 rule, I don't give a flip about 80% of 100% of what anybody thinks about me. I am me. The only people that I care about what they think about me are those that are in my innermost circle, those that have helped to shape and form me. I care about what they say, what they think, and they're shaping me and helping me to grow to be something more than the other billions of people around me that can honestly give a flip about me.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm ahead, and I know what that means. I am ahead.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that book that I'm reading about Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And the second book I'm getting into, it's about rewriting the rules for your life. And we talked about absolute realities and reality and relative, well, absolute truth and relative truths. And those are things you can actually write, create an environment that you want, for your life, and it got to be centered around money. So I appreciate that, man. Well, I'm gonna be jumping in the spaceship, headache, man. So I'm gonna let you close us out. NBA started tonight, so I gotta check out my fantasy team, see what I'm doing out there, and go Hawks. So that's what I got for you. All right, go ahead and close
Uh,
us out.
in closing, there's a reason why a lot of people don't have money, and maybe God is protecting you from yourself by not giving you everything that you think that it is that you want. But then that's a whole nother conversation that we're probably going to have next week. But in closing, I do thank everybody for showing up. Ronnie, everyone else, I do thank you all for your comments and your questions and your thought provokingness. Biggest thank you goes out to Torrance. That really was a highlight for him to show up
VGA in the house, baby.
for however long
VGA.
it is that he showed up. But I do honestly thank you, Torrance, for hanging out with us. Be kind. If you can't be kind, be good. If you can't be good, be yourself. If you can't be honest, I don't know what to tell you. But and always, shoot paper, not people. And I thank you all for hanging out with us tonight.
Awesome, man. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Yeah. Please record your message. Please record your message. Yeah. Please record your message. Yeah. How we gonna eat, man? How we gonna eat, man?